There we go. Back at it again. Back from Dallas. It was a good trip.
That's great. And I just want to say, hello, Fly fans. Your boys are here, and we're ready to knock out another podcast.
Yeah, we're doing this last minute. Because I was procrastinating.
Not really.
Yeah, we should have done this like Friday.
Yeah, but
Even Saturday, because I didn't even release a tease video for Saturday. I don't know if you noticed that. No one else did either, because nobody's been engaging. Which also brings about my procrastination. Not one person hit me up and was like, hey, where's the Saturday video? That says more about you guys than it does about us.
hey, you guys better start sharing our podcast with your friends and stuff, and share it with people who aren't your friends. Like maybe if you don't like our podcasts, just think of somebody you don't really like and say, I'm going to punish them and send them this XY on the Fly podcast. That would work. Anything to get us some more subscribers. And if you're watching and you're not subscribed, subscribe, please. And, give us a thumbs up. Or if you don't like it, give us a thumbs down. But still subscribe because we'd like that.
There was a funny video that I saw earlier, and I sent it to my buddy Mickey. And it was Tom Segura and the other dude that he does. No, it was a female that he was talking to. I don't know it might be his wife. I'm not really sure. But he was telling a story about how his agent or his friend called him up and was like, hey, McDonald's is offering like $100,000, to, use some of their colors and everything or whatever, as like a partnership deal to get publicity. And because
a little incentive.
This dude has a lot of viewers and everything. And he was like, no, like I know how this works. I'm not just going to agree to $100,000 and, I'm not going to do that because they could control what's going on. Well, his buddy hits him up like a week later, and he's like, yo, McDonald's is offering $250,000. And he was like, no, we've already talked about this. And a little while goes by, and his buddy hits him up again. He's like, yo, McDonald's. And he's like, I've already told you no. And he's like, they're offering $3.2 million. Oh, and then you hear the ba-da-ba-ba-ba music going. So,
hey, I want to bring up something.
Suzuki. I did that for free. I didn't even get a T-shirt, but that was what Mickey said. He said, don't sell out, Chris. Don't be a sellout. And then he was like, you seem like the type of guy who would sell out for 3 Gixxer T-shirts. And I was like, dude, I didn't even get a Gixxer T-shirt, and look what I did to my garage. So.
Yeah, and speaking of the Gixxer and your trip, of course, I was concerned when you guys went over there. I wanted you to come back safely because I was like, man, if he doesn't come back safely, that's the end of XY on the Fly because I don't know how to edit. So, no, it was more than that. But
fun fact, I don't either. I just wing it. I get guess every step of the way.
Well, you do a good job because your mom and I watch some people. They've got 100,000 views, and well, no, they're pretty good, but the other ones, they got like 70,000. They're from the same family, and their edits are kind of choppy. Yours are not, so that's pretty impressive.
Nice and smooth.
But I did want to say on, your trip over there, your coworker Shayna had that dream that you died.
Hey, I had a dream about you. Oh yeah, what was it? I'd rather tell you after the trip. That's what she told me. And I'm the type of person, listen, if you wanted to tell me after, you shouldn't have even mentioned it. So I was like, no, tell me. And she was like, I had a dream you died. And I was like, well, I mean, shoot, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. So hopefully I have a smile on my face when I go. Like,
well, I don't know.
But that did paranoid me a little bit. Like I was already planning on taking my riding gear, like my suit and everything. And so, of course, I was double sure I was taking all of that. And, yeah, and then it just showed me that I am my father's son because my stomach was not okay that day. But it turned out perfectly fine. Nobody got hurt. There was no close calls. And Dallas is just a whole different kind of monster when it comes to traffic. Like, Kansas City is not in it. Like, I've ridden in Kansas City multiple times. Doesn't bother me, that traffic. I mean, yes, it is chaotic at times, but it's not. It is not Dallas traffic. Holy cow.
So, did you tell Shayna about me? And
Yeah, I told her she dreamed that the wrong Thore died.
Yeah, so let me just share that with you. Last Saturday, you all know that I have stomach issues and everything, and obviously you just heard my son saying he's got stomach issues now. I talked to my half-sister, and she told me she's got horrible stomach issues, and she said any bad stuff, all that shit comes from my father. So
No pun intended.
that's where it comes from. And but anyway, last Saturday, I get a certain medication that I told my family doctor, not the VA. I said, if it only ever lasts me a month, because that's what it's prescribed for, don't ever give it to me again. And most of the time it lasts me 3 to 5 months. Well, this last batch, 13 months, they give you 60 tablets for a month. 13 months later, I still had 21 tablets. I'm doing really good. Well, I had a big stomach attack and everything, and I did what I had always done in the past, and one was to thank God. Sometimes, when the problems were just consistently, I would take 2 of this medication at one time and then slam a Miller Lite behind it. And I was debating whether to take 1 or 2. Thank God I decided to only take 1. I slammed my Miller Lite. Now, mind you, I had an empty stomach. These pills have lasted me 13 months. And they just, about 40 minutes later, I didn't feel, man, the pain was so bad, I said, well, I'm just going to go ahead and eat 3/4 of a gummy. And then I got in 112-degree bathtub water. While I'm in the bathtub, all of a sudden I was like, man, something does not feel right. So I opened the glass door on the tub, and I hung my head out to get some cool air. I was able to get out of the tub, make my way to the bed, and then I hollered for my wife. And she was getting ready to go outside and work in the backyard. And I told her something is not right. And she said, well, I'm going to stay here and just keep an eye on you. And she said, let's get you propped up on your pillows. And she propped me up and everything. And boom, I was gone. Gone. And thank God my wife is not one to panic, even though she said she was panicking. She pulled me down on the bed. The VA supplies me with Narcan. That is, if you have a narcotic overdose, you spray this stuff up your nose. Well, she sprayed it up my nose, and you're supposed to wait 2 to 3 minutes, but at a minute, nothing had happened. So she hit it again, and then she started doing on my chest, and I guess on the second or third one, I just took this deep breath, and she had called 911. Not only did the paramedics show up, the police showed up, the highway patrol showed up, and the highway patrolman had Narcan in his hand, and Teresa told him I already administered to him twice, and he said, you did the right thing. I was in and out. I remember walking to the front door because they didn't want to bring the stretcher up the stairs, and the furthest they could have got is our living room. So they had me walk to the front, and then they put me on the stretcher, got me in the ambulance. I don't remember any of it. I remember the walk to the front door. I don't remember being in an ambulance. And then when I got to the hospital and they treated me, the doctor said, I think it was the doctor, he said, you know what exacerbated all of this was the 112-degree bath water. And so I was like, yeah, I kind of figured that. And then as I'm getting ready to leave, the nurse says to me, hey, next time, why don't you skip the beer? So I'm an extremist. I do either I'm way over here or way over here. I don't do anything in the middle. So I was like, man, I am not ended up in that situation again. The pills that I had 21 tablets left, boom, in the trash. The gummies, done. I'm not doing any of that stuff because I figure if I made it 13 months, granted, I had attacks within that time, but I was able to handle it. And I'm done with this stuff. And then my sister gave me a great recommendation because of part of my problems. And I've got the most awesome bidet now. Not only does it wash you with hot water, the seat heats up. It's just awesome. And I told my sister, I said, man, this is a game changer. And she told me it saved her life. So, yeah, Shayna, your dream, you just had the wrong guy. So I just wanted to share that with y'all because I wanted you guys to know Chris and I have a good time. But everybody has struggles. Don't think anybody has life down and everything's just smooth sailing, because that's not the case. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I'm looking forward to May for our Branson trip. And that's why we got to get some of these podcasts down.
I'm going to use proper timing or piss poor timing, depending on who you are and how butthurt you get on feelings. But I'm going to use that as an example of why I don't understand these women who are out here who are like, I don't let my husband ride a motorcycle. They're too dangerous. Listen, when it's your time to go, it's your time. It doesn't matter what you're doing, where you're at, who you're with. It doesn't matter. If it's your time, it's your time. So stop being a bitch. Let your husband get that motorcycle.
It is so true, because the only reason I have Narcan is Dr. Twitty through the VA said, hey, Paul, is it okay if we send you some Narcan? And I was like, yeah, sure. I'm never going to have to use it, which I didn't use it. Teresa used it on me. But if it wasn't for her, I would have been dead. Oh, and here's another thing. Teresa said, this is how you know that I really love you, because I could have been a very rich woman, which is true. If she would have just let me kick off my insurance and my VA and my pension, she would have had it made, man. So my wife does love me, and I'm thankful for that.
Nice. Learned a valuable lesson in traveling. For one, I gotta share this. So with the job that I have, I drive all over the state, and obviously I use GPS a lot. So like going to and from places, I've gone to these places so many times. I have it down to a science on how long it's going to take me, and the GPS is pretty darn accurate. Generally, like there's more miles than there are, minutes that it's going to take me to get there. So when I got to Dallas, and it was the other way around, I put in this one destination. I think it was only like 5 miles away from where we were staying. And before I actually brought it up on GPS, I told my buddy, I was like, oh, dude, there's one right around the corner. Let's go. And I put it in, and it's like 45 minutes. Oh. I'm like, no way is it 45 minutes to go 5 miles. It wasn't. It was more like 40, but still.
40 minutes?
That's what I'm saying. So the traffic in Dallas is crazy. Blew my mind. So it's a totally different ballgame when you're on a bike. That was a lot of fun. I have some videos on my GoPro that I haven't actually watched yet, but I recorded when I was riding by myself, and yeah, I'm excited to watch those because I was.
Did you guys lane split?
No. So it's not legal in Texas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no. I asked about that. It is not legal. However, there are some gray areas. If traffic stopped, I forget how the dude explained it, but it made sense. And because your bikes are air cooled, like they're liquid cooled, but you need air,
right?
So you can kind of just
creep along.
Yeah, you can't lane split, but you can kind of, I'm just trying to cool my bike off, But we didn't have to do any of that. We just.
What was the temperature when you guys were riding that day?
It was actually not. I think it was like 78. It was nice.
Wow, that's pretty
warm.
Nice.
Yeah. But so going back to learning lessons on traveling and everything. Generally, when we go over there, because we have friends over there, it takes about 7.5 hours to get there from where we live. So, and normally it's because of the toll road. Or no, it's 7 hours. And then, so the way that I wanted to go, I wanted to avoid the toll roads because it was an extra 15 miles if you didn't take toll roads. And I'm thinking to myself, my truck gets almost 20 miles per gallon. That's a gallon of gas. So $3 versus, it's actually $10 for the tolls one way. So $10 that way and then $10 back. So I'm like, I'll save, a good $15 if I avoid the tolls. And so what should have only taken 7.5 hours wound up taking 10 because of, one, the traffic in Dallas. And then also we got a flat tire on the way there because there was a metal shrapnel piece in the road. I saw it. The truck in front of me straddled it, and when it went past it, it blew it off to the side of the road into the grass. So I thought I was good, and as I was driving by, the wind whipped it and slammed it into my sidewall tire, the sidewall of my tire. So of course, you can't fix that, so I had to get a new tire. And there was a tire shop literally a minute down the road, so I'm not entirely sure if they didn't plant that there, but
that flat tire was meant to be.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because as we were getting closer to Dallas, the time kept changing because accidents kept popping up on the GPS.
Wow.
So, yeah, there's probably a good chance that God was watching over us. And I actually did really good, and I stayed pretty calm for the situation because the old me would have been just absolutely furious, and I would have made my family stay in the truck because I wouldn't have been a nice person. But we found it where I got the flat. We weren't on a highway, so I got to get off, and we wound up in a parking lot of an antique store.
Did Drew help change the tire?
Drew did help me a little bit. So
that's great.
Yeah, and I got to learn how to get the spare from underneath the truck because I knew where the spare was. I just didn't know how to get to it. I was like,
I don't know how to do mine either.
So, yeah, you might want to YouTube that or look in your manual. Fortunately, I had signal, so I just YouTubed it, and it's actually really, I don't know how it is on all the other trucks, but on F-150s, it is super easy.
I know I have to take my lug thing and...
Yeah. It's the same thing. So, yeah, what should have only taken 7.5 hours wound up taking 10, and then, of course, yeah, we decided to take tolls on the way back, and that was a lot nicer. A lot faster. So we left at little after 9, and we got home about 5:20, and that was with us stopping in Joplin and eating at Red Lobster.
And you thought the toll road was going to be a lot more expensive. That's
why I did think it was going to be more expensive. I didn't know it's $5 for each toll that you hit, and as long as you don't get off the highway before the end of the toll road, you only hit 2 tolls.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. So I wanted to cover that. I had talked about how you'd given me the good idea about lifting light and just doing lots of reps and everything, and thank God I get to lift normally. My stomach's doing okay. Sometimes I have to switch things up of when I'm going to do my legs, especially squats, because I don't want my insides falling out of me, so I have to be perfect with my stomach and everything. But I am doing heavy for me. I mean, for a lot of people, it wouldn't be heavy. And also, at my son's recommendation, I am doing the leg abductor and adductor. And what I realized is the one where you spread your legs out, though I'm real limber at bending over, I can put my head to my knees and everything and keeping my legs straight. Man, my legs only opened up about that much. So I'd probably be safe in prison because they ain't getting to them cheeks. But anyway, your mom taught me, once you get there, if you stand up and lean forward, boom, I could really open them. And so I do that. I do. What weight do you do on those?
I don't know, 110.
I do 100.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't, and I do 10 reps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm happy to be lifting like that. I'm really enjoying being over there, like I said, and it's just good. I'm meeting a lot of nice people. Eric, who lives over there, he lets me speak to him in Spanish, so I get to practice my Spanish. And when I saw him today, his brother was with them, and I walked over to him, and I was like, oh, man, the word I want to say, because I was thinking, they're twins. That's what I'm thinking. And then, man, thank you, Duolingo. It flashed back in my mind, and I asked him, Gemelos. And he goes, no, but you just made he talks to me in English. No, but you just made my brother's day. And I was like, why is that? Because he's older than me. So, yeah, I get to practice Spanish. There's a lot of nice people up there. And so I'm enjoying. I was very leery at first because I don't do well with a lot of people. which people would be surprised because I'll talk to anybody. I don't know a stranger, but I have to be in my element. And now it's my element there, and I do talk to people. And man, I'm glad we joined. And like I told you, joining the car wash membership and the Y, I'm still saving money because no more gummies, no more. No, I do my own lawn and everything. Because I'm thinking people are charging like $50 now to do lawn. And if you got to do it 4 times a month, that's a lot of money.
I'm paying you to do it.
So, yeah. What else?
I don't know. I had something I was going to talk about, and then I just forgot about it.
I probably interrupted you.
No. Oh, this is going to drive me nuts. I'm trying to look around and see.
Was it the go-karts?
Oh, no, but that was fun. Drew did really good at that. Oh, yeah, Top Golf. So we're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to go because we went to that in Dallas with the guy who started the group. Him and his wife, they set that up, and so we went, and it was a blast. Like, obviously, I'm not good at golf, but I got pretty good at hitting those balls.
I thought you did it with Jaime. I didn't know.
Jaime went with me.
But it was the motorcycle group.
Yeah, it was the motorcycle group.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So it was a good time. The thing that they had set up, we had a buffet, all you could eat. And then the only thing you had to pay for is if you got alcoholic drinks. So, but your sodas and everything were free.
Are you aiming
Not
for
free,
something when you hit the
you
ball?
can't. So there's these. Every ball has a sensor in it. So when you smack it, you can turn around and look at the TV and see exactly where it went. Whoa. But they have these like hole pocket things like out there that have like nets, and like you can aim for those, and there's some way out there. But then they also had we started playing an Angry Birds game. So you know the game where you try and take the pigs out, right? Well, you do this with golf balls. Obviously, you can't see the Angry Birds out in the field, but it's on the screen. So when you hit the ball, it tracks where the ball's going, and that's where the bird goes on the screen, and you try and take them out, and it collects points and everything. And
how many of you were there who played?
There were a lot of it. We had like, we had like 5 bays or something.
Where'd you finish in the competition?
Oh, so the Angry Bird thing. So the ones who were playing that, there was me. I think there were 5 or 6 of us. In the first game, I won. And then the second game, I was winning until the very last, pig thing that you had to take out, and Jaime jumped to the front. So
that's pretty impressive since you've never played golf.
I've been golfing before. I just wasn't,
You've done, real golf?
Yeah.
Not I didn't know
lived
that.
in Virginia Beach on Thanksgiving twice, both times that Roxy had family over there, and they invited us for Thanksgiving, and both times we went, the 2 times, the guys of course I didn't have clubs, but there were left-handed clubs and everything, and we'd take them and sneak onto the golf course because they were closed.
Don't you love it though? Golf is it's so hard, but it's so fun.
It's pretty. It's nice. I kept it on the green. They taught me some good techniques, which I completely forgot. So when I was at Top Golf, there's a couple balls that just did not go where I was wanting them to go. But it was a. And then somebody sent me a video the day after we were there. Somebody was in a black car and lost control and went through the fence and everything.
That was at the Top Golf?
The Top Golf that we were at.
Top Golf. Yeah, the first time I did 9 holes. The first time I went with a friend named Audie, and I was a little bewildered because we got going, and then a ways down there was this machine, and it said ball washer, and I was like, wow. Should I drop my pants right here?
As soon as you said ball washer, I knew this was not a serious story.
But no, I did 9 holes the first time with Audie, and it took me 2.5 hours to play 9 holes.
Hey, had fun.
But what I liked about it, because at that time I did work out so hard and everything, and when we were done, I was like, man, I don't hurt at all. This is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is nice.
Where are we at?
We're in my garage.
Yes, we are. How much time we at?
I don't know. We got like. So here's the problem. I've made it a habit of forgetting to look at what time we start, and I kind of just guess. So I don't know. We got another 5 minutes, maybe.
Okay, I want to just take some of you guys back to the military. When I left the Navy and a year and a half later joined the Army, it was so funny, and I played it off really well. When you go to in the Navy and you go to sea, you get a sea service ribbon, and then for every 30 days, I don't know how much it was, you get a bronze star. And I had a sea service ribbon with 2 bronze stars. But the way it was listed on my Navy DD-214 was sea service ribbon. And then it had X's coming down here with 2 W/2 bronze stars. And the Army dude looks up at me and he goes, 2 bronze stars? And I just looked at him and I said, I was young and dumb back then. He thought I was a war hero.
So that made me think of a story. It has nothing to do with ribbons or anything like that or stars. But so when I was in A school, the barracks that you were in, there were phases of like what you were allowed to do. And like if you were on phase 1, like anytime you went out, you had to be in your dress uniform. And, of course, I hated doing that, so I never went out. But they had these, like, rules where you had to learn, like, the chain of command and recite them and everything. And I refused to do that because I knew that's not where I was going to be stationed, so why am I going to waste time memorizing that stuff? Well, phase 2, you get to go out in normal civilian clothes, but you have to come back at a certain time. Phase 3, you get to stay out a little later, and on weekends, you get to stay out overnight. And so anyway, I needed phase 3 because I was bringing Roxy and my best friend to Jacksonville, Florida, and they were already on their way. And I told my buddies, I was like, I'm going to get phase 3. I'm going to go get it, like, right now. And they're like, you know your stuff? And I was like, absolutely not, but I got a game plan. And they're like, okay. So I go down there, and there was a petty officer who had been down there who was no longer there. He had just recently left. So I went down there, and I was like, I don't even remember who all these petty officers were. But I go down there, and I'm like, hey, I just wanted to check in on my phase 3. And I talked to the yeoman who's at the desk, who's a nobody just like me, but that's his position in the barracks. And he's like, what's your name? So I told him, and he's like, dude, I don't see anything. And I was like, come on, man. Are you serious? I have big plans this weekend. Like, how do we, like, expedite this? And he's like, let me go. And he goes and gets the first-class petty officer, and he comes over, and he's like, what's the deal? And I was like, listen, I just last week, I recited everything for my phase 3. I got friends coming in this weekend. I've already got the hotel booked. Like, I need this phase 3. He's like, come into the office. So we go in there, and he's like, all right, who'd you do it with? I was like, I don't even remember the petty officer's name. I just know he, like, just left a couple days ago, which is why I'm a little pissed off that, like, and he's like, well, then just recite your stuff again, and I'll sign it off right now. I was like, no, that's not the principle. The principle is that I already did it. I want my phase 3. Just because you guys dropped the ball doesn't mean I should get punished. And there was another petty officer sitting in there at another desk, and he looks up and he goes, I got you, man. I remember you coming in here. I'd never been in that office. So anyway, I got my phase 3, and I got to go out that weekend.
That is
and
awesome.
Not come back. So
that is awesome. Yeah, it's just like the story you told me. I told your mom about it, and she goes, wow, I'm surprised. That certain church you were visiting where they stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. So I told your mom, then they were supposed to sit down, and Chris just remained standing up. And your mom goes, I'm surprised he just didn't remain sitting the whole time.
No, I like to make a statement.
That would have been.
That was like another time at one of my jobs. Listen, I'm a man of my word. If I say I'm going to do something or I'm not going to do something, that's exactly what's going to happen. I don't sugarcoat things, even if it hurts other people's feelings or if it shocks them. Like, I don't care. And that was a switch that got flipped when I got really disrespected in the military, and I realized that most people are fake. So I refuse to be, let fake people dictate who I am as a person. But we had this meeting that we had to do, and our boss was like, hey, I need 5 volunteers. And nobody volunteered. And then, of course, if I don't get 5 volunteers, I'm going to pick 5 people. That was a flashback to the military, voluntold. But my coworker who I was with at the time, she goes, they're going to pick you. And I was like, I don't care. I'm not going up there. And at the time, the reason I knew they were going to pick me, I knew she was right. Because at that time, I had a red mohawk. I showed up to the meeting in a cutoff sleeve T-shirt because I just gotten done at the gym. Like, and I was sitting in the back. So, of course, that's the first place they're going to look. And sure enough, my name's the first one called. And I, come on up here. No. Everybody turned around and just stared at me. And my boss was like, come on, get up here. And I said, what did I just say? I am not coming up there. And she picked 5 other people. Like, that's just who I am as a person. I don't care who you are. I'm not going to, if I don't want to do something or I do want to do something, that's exactly what's going to happen. I had the state troopers called me the other day. While I was at work, I was in the office, and they called me about their whole, their drive that they do.
Yeah.
It's that time again. I said, hey, I have a question for you. And the guy was like, go ahead. I said, why would I donate to an organization that half of them don't even take their oath to the Constitution seriously? I said, you guys aren't getting shit from me. And I hung up. That's how, I don't care. I'm very vocal of a person. That's why I know I'm a hard person to get along with. So I try and stay quiet. Like, I have jokes for days, but I kind of need to behave. Because if I don't keep that filter turned on, it gets turned all the way off, and somebody gets in trouble. And normally it's me.
Hey, let me tell you, I'll let you all know, Chris's coworker knows, Stumper Media knows, to be around Chris is a blast. He is funny. He's so much fun. He reins it in here on XY on the fly and lets me look funny. And I just like the time we're having.
This just reminded me, we can go over 30 minutes. It'll be all right. So we're just going to spill it. I don't care. Past things are in the past. I learned from my mistakes. So, okay, so how do I start this off?
At the beginning.
Yeah. I'm trying to think where a good spot to be in the. Okay, so I'm gonna this just dawned on me today because a dude made a joke on TikTok. He was like, you need a Bud Light? Because I was making you remember that video I made where I was like, gay, and then I pointed at my Jigsaw hat, super gay. And then I point at my bike, and I'm like, super gay. And then I'm like, it's all good, it's all gay. Well, he was like, you need a Bud Light? And that was hilarious to me, even more so than he thinks or knows, because let's look at all the strikes and things I got going against me, okay? I was in the Navy. What's the jokes about Navy guys?
Yeah.
Gay, right? I ride a Gixxer. Oh, boy. I worked at a gay bar. There you go. And last but not least, I did work for Anheuser-Busch. Come on, people. Like,
that is true, man. That is true.
Somebody should tell my wife. I don't.
Hey, that's a good place to stop.
Yeah, that is a good place. So thanks for tuning in.
Absolutely. We appreciate you guys. We really do.
Yep.
Hope you're having a good time. I hope we're getting you away from all the political stuff and hate and everything, and that you're just enjoying the show. Thanks for tuning in.
Said it never happened, show them what's up. Said we never make it, about to blow up. Boom! Let me get into your mind and we'll find all the negativity inside. Gonna flip that switch when it hits a ditch, you know it won't survive. We're bringing positive vibes, you know how we thrive. Like do or die, now wave bye-bye to the old style. We are the trendsetters, we are the pioneers. We're stacking body bags, but they're filled with our fears. They've been at it for weeks, we've been at it for years. They're stuck in automatic, we're shifting up our gears. So give me that beat, won't no defeat. Man's got to eat, Lord bless his feast. Now dive in, amen.